Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Makeup by Torrence here, and today I am bringing you my much promised updated foundation routine. As you can see, things have gotten a little brighter, a little more glam. I'm wearing lashes. I didn't used to wear them, but when you're stuck in the house all day, you get to travel your collection, see the things that you have. I wanted to keep my eyes neutral. Everything that I am going to be using in today's routine is going to be permanent. So if you are a returning person to my video, I want to thank you for being subscribed. If you are new, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I've been listening to the comments and DMs that I've been receiving from you all, and I wanted to do a routine where every single item that I am wearing is a permanent item in the brand's collection. Before, I did have a lot of limited edition brushes that I used to love to use, but I wanted to do something where I know you all could truly follow each and every step and use every tool. And so I'm going to leave everything in the description bar below. Please make sure that you leave me a comment down below if you want to see more routines like this, because I just want to make sure that you all get everything that you want to see on this channel. We are almost at our 100 subscribers and I cannot wait. I am so excited that we are going to hit that 100 subscriber mark soon. I will be doing another giveaway for that. Remember, we're always going to do a giveaway at the zeros. I've already done one at 10, so I will be doing one at 100. But if there's nothing else, I'm going to go ahead and jump straight into it. We're going to make sure we snatch the makeup off, take our hair up, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So if you want to know how I achieve this look, just continue to watch. First, I want to spoolie out my brows. The e.l.f. Cosmetic Lash Brow Wand. But once again, we're going to go in with the Brow MVP in medium brown. And I love the way that it looked with the dark brown, but I figured it was just a little too noticeable to me. I don't think anybody else cared or saw. So I just really wanted to see what this will look like with this shade. And I must admit, it really feels different doing my brows first because I'm used to doing it after the base. But I have been loving the way that my makeup has been turning out, doing it the other way around. And I truly feel as if doing it that way will make editing easier on my end, which will then allow me to put out more content for you all. So yeah, I like this color. It's a lot softer than the dark brown. Yep. Okay, Rihanna, y'all might have a new winner there. And of course, today I want to do an updated foundation routine. We ain't gonna let acne get in the way again. But we're going to go ahead and set those brows with the ABH Clear Brow Gel. I'm using a disposable wand. Lock those in. And next, just to clean up underneath the brows, we're gonna put on a lid primer, but I don't like the look of a very stark white under eyebrow highlight. So I like to go in with a foundation color, and I'm gonna blend that out first, right underneath the brow. And then we're gonna go in with our eye primer. For concealer, the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer in the shade Caramel. And I'm going to blend that out using the Sigma P82 brush. I'm not really worried about being precise or anything like that. It's just I really do not want to have a stark white under eye. So by going in and buffing that all the way out and over, we can ensure my skin tone is there, and I can always add a slightly lighter, shade of eyeshadow or something there if I want to brighten it. But straight up white ain't going there. For eye primer, we're going to be using the P. Louise base in the shade Rumuor 0. I want to use this shade because I found that the regular ones are nice for cutting and creasing things, but in order to get like the absolute truest, darkest, richest pigment out of my eyeshadows, I've just come to find that the whitest base or the lightest base that you can use is what will do it. Brow, I just find it unflattering there. But on the lid and the crease, I believe that's where it truly shines and helps your eyeshadow stand out. And I'm gonna just follow my natural crease like this. And just let that brush sink all the way into it to let me know where to stop. Gonna let me know how high I can take this up, because I know for sure I'm gonna take eyeshadow up that far with just my crease brush, but then we're gonna fan that out a little bit, just like this, and buff off those edges by just tapping on it. We don't want to take it all the way up, but we do want to diffuse those edges. All right, and to set that in place, we're going to be using the RCMA No Color Powder. Just because I have hooded eyes, I just want to make sure I blend out my lid and my crease area to make sure everything's going to look flawless before we set it. And I'm going to go in with a rather heavy layer because I know I'm going to immediately dust this off, but I don't want to risk any area still being moist and tacky. And now we're going to go ahead and dust off any and all excess powder, because I know this has more than enough time to set. For eyeshadow today, we're going to be using the Going Coconuts palette by Colourpop. My palette does look a little different than the one advertised because I popped out all the shades and rearranged them to my own color story of my liking. If you want to see a tutorial, if you would like to see a video on how not only did I rearrange this palette, but all of my Colourpop palettes, just leave me a comment down below letting me know that you would like to see that video and I can make it happen for you. But for today, we're going to be using a few shades. And for my crease, I want to go in with this first shade here, which is Get Crackin'. And I'm going to be using the Sonia G Blender Pro. And we're going to take that and blend that all the way throughout our entire crease. We still have enough room to blend our transition shade above that. Just going to go ahead, go in with one more layer, blend out any edges. Now that we have our crease blended, I'm going to go in with the transition shade, this middle shade here, Lovely Bunch, with my Wayne Goss number 18 brush. I like to pat it on in place first and then go in and buff out those edges. And for me, this is the most important part. Having hooded lids means I need my crease shades to be very blended. And as you can see, we have softened up the edge of that color there. And the reason why I like having that crease shade there is because it gives us this look here. If you see this, it just blends straight up into the eyebrow there. On this side, we haven't blended it out, so you see that crease is still there, but I do not want it to come up and then come to that stark white edge, as you can see how harsh that looks here. I would never want that right underneath my brow. So now we're going to take and we're going to blend out this crease shade on this eye just like we did on that side, and we'll be right back. Now that I have those shades blended out, I'm going to go ahead and cover my lid using the NYX Glitter Primer and the Morphe M421 brush. I'm usually not too worried about being precise with cutting the crease. I'm just mainly concerned with covering the entire lid and going up as high into the crease as I can. You see, I'm just rocking back and forth. And I'm just more concerned with just making sure it's a nice, even, round shape. And every area on the lid is covered. And before we go in and cover up our lid with shimmer colors, I want to go in with a little more on the outer V here with our same Blender Pro. If you have smaller eyes than I do, you may want to use a smaller tapered brush, but because I have very large eyes, I'm going to go back in with that very first shade, Get Crackin', and just place that on the entire outer V. And for our lid shape, we're going to go in with this color right here, Cocoa Crush, and I'm going to be using my Sonia G Blender 3 brush. To get the most pigmentation, you want to pack first and then spread later. And now that I'm satisfied with how much I packed on, I'm going to go ahead and just give it a slight swipe just to see if it's going to intensify or foil anymore. And because I'm satisfied with that, no need to add any moisture or anything like Fix Plus. Jump ahead to the other side. If I wanted to go for a more dramatic look, I will leave my eyes just like this to have a cut crease. But because this is going to be a normal everyday look, I'm going to go ahead and diffuse that down a bit and deepen up my outer V. This shade here, which is Nutty, and I'm going to be doing that with my Wayne Goss number 19 brush. I'm going to fill up our brush, and then we're going to pat it here on the very outer edges of the outer V first. And then we're going to knock off any excess product and start diffusing that from the outer corner over. And we want to try to stay as low in the crease as we possibly can. We're just going to diffuse that until there's no harsh line. I'm going to build up a tiny bit more right on the top of that. And can you see how it just slightly brings that down a little bit where it's not so sharp and crisp on this side? And that's what we want. And the more that you build that color up in the crease, the more you can soften that line or the appearance of it. Because it's still there, but because I have hooded eyes, when I open up like this, it won't look like a cut crease. It'll just look like a shimmer. I'm liking her. We have to spoolie through our lashes and put on mascara. Go ahead and get that going. And this is the e.l.f. Cosmetics Lash and Brow Wand. Because we just put all that shimmer on the lid, there's a big chance that we could have fallout. So we want to brush those through just to make sure none of our lashes are tangled and we don't have any excess product that can clump up in our mascara. For mascara primer today, I'm going to be using the Cils Booster by Lancome. I bought this during the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty. It was a half off sale and I figured why not try it, and I ended up liking it. and forgot that I had it. So we're gonna go ahead and use this until he's gone. I personally believe if you have a wonderful mascara, you don't need a lash primer. But at half price, it truly does give a boost. And it truly is beautiful, so I'm gonna use it. And we're gonna give that time to dry. Once that dries, we're gonna go ahead and coat our lashes in the Essence Lash Princess False Lash Effect Mascara, the green tube. This is a fabulous drugstore mascara. Fabulous. That tiny little wand, I absolutely adore it. We're also going to coat our top lashes. Alright, and then we're just going to go ahead, let that mascara dry. And now that my mascara has dried, I'm going to go ahead and clean up underneath my eyes with a clean Q-tip and clean up any mascara that may have smudged. Before starting on the face, I'm going to take a clean makeup wipe and clean underneath my eyes and remove any of that glitter fallout that we may have there. And I like to go in with two different primers, one for my T-zone to control my oil because I have oily acne prone skin, and another all over just to put foundation and things on. First one we're going to use is the Becca Evermatte. We're going to make sure we put that over the nose and put a little extra on the sides because that's where I get the most oily. We're just going to apply that with our fingers. And make sure I get a little on the forehead as well. And for all over primer, we're going to go in with the Clinique Super Primer in the shade Universal. Again, applying with our fingers. I like to pat it in first just to ensure that I don't remove the Becca Evermatte primer. But anywhere that I don't have the Becca Evermatte, like right here on the sides, I don't mind just swiping. And before we move on to foundation, I almost forgot we want to add lashes. I'm going to add my favorites, the Ardell Demi Wispies. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to put that on off camera because the time it's going to take for me to get this right and get you all in view, it's just not going to work. But I will be applying that with the Duo Brush On Adhesive with Vitamins, and I'll be right back. And now we have lashes on. You see it give us just enough flare to be noticeable, but not so much to take over the eye look. And we're going to go ahead and go in with foundation. Today we're going to be using the Nars Sheer Glow in the shade Tahoe and the Sigma F82 brush. I know the F80 is their most popular, but for foundation and liquid products, I just tend to like a round kabuki over a flat kabuki. And I'm going to start off just placing it all over the face first and then spreading from there. I know most times I just go in from the outside and just blend in to get a little more coverage. But I've been finding that using less and less coverage is what's going to give us a more natural look. And most days I don't care for a natural look, but with my skin acting up, I want to look glam, but I don't want to be as overdone as I could possibly be. And we're going to spread this out first and see what kind of coverage we have from there. And we want to make sure we don't have any brush strokes. I like to cover the border of my lip line just a tiny bit. Just to make sure all areas are covered. And because we can still see our acne scar here, we know we have not gone complete coverage. And with that being the darkest acne spot that I have now, that's usually how I will determine how much coverage a foundation gives me. And for concealer, I have been going ham with my concealer lately. My normal blended out routine just ain't been cutting it. I've been wanting to go a little lighter. So we are going in with our shade Medium 2 Ginger. And we're gonna go ahead and put an entire dot of both of those underneath each eye. We'll see if we need to add any more to that. And we're also gonna go ahead and do our chin, our lip, and our nose with another dot. Another dip. And we're still using the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer. And just to make sure my Beauty Blender hasn't dampened out, I'm using the Black Beauty Blender Pro, and I'm gonna rehydrate that with the Evian Facial Spray. And we're gonna blend that out. I am guessing we're going to have to go in and do another dip of each one, because this is not quite giving me the coverage that we want. Yeah. Okay, so I know we said one dip in each area, but we're going to go back in and do 2 dips in each area. There we go. And when I'm doing my under eye, I like to blend toward the center of the face first. Make sure we have enough to come up the side of the nose. And then we want to blend it back out. And my main concern is getting it right here in this front cheek area, right here to the side of the eye. After that, when we turn our head, we just want to diffuse everything up and out. But we want most of that coverage to stay right here. We're going to blend up the very sides and the edges of this right here. See, like that. And you can diffuse that on the sides of the nose, but because we're going to contour that later, it's going to get covered. But we want to make sure it comes all the way up. Just because I like a very, very intense bright under eye, is go in and put just a little more brightness right there under the very center. And for that, we're going to go in with light 2.6 Cafe con Leche. I hope that's how you say that. And with this, we just truly want it to be right there underneath the eye, just bright as possible. We're not going to bring that all the way down or all the way out. And before we go in with setting powder, I just want to press underneath the eye one last time to help remove any creases. And then we're going to go ahead and set our under eye. I'm using a 50-50 mixture of the Midnight Colorless Powder as well as the Sacha Buttercup Light. I like adding the Midnight powder because I like the amount of coverage it has. It's, you know, heavy duty, lasts all day. And I like the Sacha powder because I like the brightening effects that it gives with that slight yellow undertone. And this basically helps me to create my own translucent powder, because I find that most translucent powders are either neutral or lean slightly cool, and I need one with yellow to it. As you can see, I'm a very big fan of baking. And I forgot to mention, the brush we're using right now is the KVD Vegan Beauty number 25 brush. But I'm trying to see if I can find a dupe for this brush. I've been looking, and once I find one, I will let you all know. And now to set the rest of the face, we're going to use that same powder, but we're going to use the IT brushes for Ulta, the number 115 brush. I just like that other one to go around the entire under eye area. But this one is large and flat, and it'll help me get the rest of the face very quickly. And we just want to go in. So again, I like my stuff to last all day, not touching up or nothing, so I need a powder that's going to get it going. So I bake the entire face, not just the under eye. I always like to do the eyes first and remove it last, and the same thing goes with the rest of the face. Because I did this last, it comes off first, so I'm going back in reverse. Just about dusting off as much powder as we can without interrupting the product underneath. You just want to sweep this top layer off. Use this brush to try to knock off most of the powder, but I find that it's not going to get everything as close as I want. I'm going to have to go back in with the KVD brush and knock off the rest. Just hit that. Buff underneath the eye area, remove that. For contour, we're going to be using the IT for Ulta brushes, the number 112 brush, and the KVD Vegan Beauty Refill color in the shade Subconscious. We're going to be using this brush to contour our nose first, and then we're going to go ahead and contour above the lip area here. I like to start off by brushing down on the sides of the nose. We want to get a very light amount of product there first and create the lines that we want to diffuse out later, but we want these lines to be very soft and barely noticeable now so that they're easier to blend. Okay, and I'm just looking, seeing where I want to add a little more contour, a little more definition before we start to buff and blend. And because I have a bone right here, I like to put that there. Because my nose is slightly wider here at the tip, I like to go ahead and put a little more there. Also gonna make sure we get the bottom of the nose here, right here, as well as right here on the sides. I like to also come down to the very base and come over, as well as on the other side. And allow that to sit for just a second while we go in and do those same type of lines above the lip before we start to buff that out. Come straight down here. And it helps that dip right there above the lip look a little more pronounced. And then we're also going to do that on the sides. You see that? We add a little more. And then once we buff that out, it'll be a little less pronounced. Okay, and because we don't know how much product I have on the tip of this brush, we're going to start down here at the bottom because that's where someone will be less likely to see me. And it helps me to make sure that there isn't any extra product before I start to come up and buff right here on the sides. The center of the nose is the most noticeable. So this is where you want to take the most time to buff and blend and make sure there aren't any harsh edges. Here. Come down and do this. Buff this out toward those sides of the face. And to sculpt our forehead, our cheek, and our jaw, we're going to use the Real Technique sculpting brush and the same contour powder. Because I want my 5 head to look like a 4 head, we're going to go across the top first and put that line there. That way we can help diffuse and bring that down, make that look shorter. And then we're also going to do that on the sides to make the forehead look a little more narrow. Top of the ear. down to the corner of the lip line, but we want to stop right before we get to the eye, like that. The chin, help bring her in a little bit. The jawline, and right here on the jaw. Any additional leftover product, I'll just sweep right here on the sides of the neck, just to make sure we have less product here. And I don't know why, but I like to start right here on the cheekbone before I start buffing the forehead. I'm gonna get that going first, starting at the bottom and working my way up just to diffuse that line. I'm going back and forth between using it sideways like this and using it up and down like this. All the days in the world they want to mow the lawn. We're going to try to continue to go in and ignore that noise and buff out our forehead now. I'm talking crap like I don't want my grass cut down. Okay, chin, chin, chin. Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. Buff out our jawline. For blush, going back to favorites. So of course we went back to Serafina by Juvia's place. I did not realize I was not recording any longer, so I'm not sure what part I've missed. But all we've done so far was take the Laura Mercier in the shade 1 underneath the eyes with the Sigma E50 brush, and now we're going to go in with shade 2 and our Wayne Goss number 11 brush and dust that all over the rest of the face. Starting off right here with the nose, tapering it down right here on the side. Just want to sweep this across the face because we've been using a lot of mattifying powders on this look. For the last bit of powder, we want that to be luminous to help create a glow on the skin. And we also want to help diffuse just right here on the sides where we brought that one powder, the powder in the shade 1 up. We want to diffuse that line right there. For highlighter, going back to the old favorite, Matte Oh Darling. And we're going to use the Sigma M124 brush, starting off underneath the brows. And to me, this is where I like to clean up my eyeshadow, with the highlighter here. Clean up my brows. Going in with a much brighter concealer shade, to me, it's just a little strong and intense. And this slight little shimmer of highlighter will create a beam of light right underneath the brows to give you that lift where you want it. Put that on the rest of the face using my Radiance Fan Brush, the number 116, the e.l.f. Ulta Radiance Fan Brush. Nose, Cupid's bow. And above the brow. For our lips, we are going to do Cork by MAC. Yes, make it look like we got lip fillers in this bad. Look at that. Lip looking all pouty and cute like. And for lip gloss, we are going to go in with the Pat McGrath Lust Gloss in the shade Bronze Temptation. And to set everything, because we just want a hydrated look, we're going to go ahead and spray with the MAC Fix Plus. This is a limited edition bottle, but coconut is a permanent scent. I just like to refill this bottle because I find it very beautiful. We're going to go ahead and spray our face here. And I know I am saturated, honey, but I like to be drenched. To lock everything in place so that it does not move at all. I'm going to give it a little shake, 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 shake. Urban Decay All-Nighter. And we like to drown in this spray, honey. And you know the routine. Cheap fan, expressive breeze, good times. And I'm gonna give this a few minutes, continue to let this dry, and then I'll be right back to show you all the final look. And this is the final look. As you can see, I am truly enjoying this new routine here. It's giving me a brighter under eye. I've never been the big fan of wearing lashes myself just because I feel as if my lashes aren't long enough. But these are the #1 lashes that I used on clients when I used to freelance, and I see why I love them so much. I used to call them the boyfriend lash because I knew they were just enough to let a woman know she was wearing lashes, but not so much that when she went home, her boyfriend would complain about them. So bringing them back feels amazing. Pat McGrath, I mean, extra slick, juicy, Lust Gloss. You can't go wrong with that. I am truly getting back into that bright under eye look because that sis there, she just bothered me to the fullest. But I hope you all truly enjoyed this video. If you have any suggestions or tips or anything, please leave a comment down below letting me know. Please subscribe because I will have more videos coming through. Give this video a thumbs up because it really does help the channel to get noticed by other people on the platform. But I will be getting this video up for you all as quickly as I possibly can. But if there's nothing else, remember to practice, continue to stay blessed, and bye YouTube.